Welcome to Honestly Rated, and today we'll be talking about your favorite sacrificed animal, Buckshot. There is love in the air this weekend since Valentine's was just yesterday, and honestly, I've been getting a little bit of a whiff of it. And personally, I kind of wanted to make sure I did a Skylander that could relate to it, and my pick for it would be Buckshot. And if you're wondering why Buckshot, well, he was supposed to get a Valentine's variant. It ended up looking very satanic though, and for him being a goat, you can see where that maybe is a little bit of a problem when your whole fan base is children, so they ended up not going with it. So just think of this video as an honorary moment too that really cursed Buckshot. But before we take a look at Buckshot, his moveset, and overall design to see if he was honestly any good, we're going to take a look at his lore and see how he became a Skylander. It starts off with a young Buckshot and his siblings getting trapped in a magical realm of mazes by a very racist spellpunk that really wanted to get rid of all those sky fawns. With him and his siblings in this labyrinth, he was trying to find a way out. Sadly, he really couldn't find one for many years. Luckily though, the magic in this room was starting to fuse with him with his real formidable soul, and started giving him powers with his bow. This leads up to him learning how to teleport and make portals, letting him and his siblings get out, and now just becoming a sensei and trying to make sure that fucking spellpunk dies at some point. Now with the lore out the way, let's go into Buckshot and see how sharp of a moveset he really has. Starting off, we have Spread Shot and Goat Portals. Just like most Imaginators, Buckshot starts off pretty damn good. Its primary fire is an arrow that shoots multiple arrows. Some of them do 31, most of them do 7, and it does pretty well at cleaning up enemies. You know, you got a big group in there, just shoot a couple of these arrows out, everything just dies in there. Pretty cool. Now, it's not a lot of damage, though, if you're going after one target, because obviously you're not going to be able to land every single one of those arrows. So, how can you really try to maximize how much damage you're doing? Well, look no further than the Goat Portals. There's two main uses for these Goat Portals. For one, is obviously transportation. With any portal, you're going to end up somewhere different than you were before. And honestly, it works out okay in that sense. The portals don't take you super far, so you're not really making distance. But obviously, if you're just in a pickle, you know, a bunch of enemies are swarming you, you can use it to get out. It can do a little bit of damage too if you jump right between some enemies. The only problem is that you have to kind of think of it beforehand. It's not something you can kind of do like offhandedly. You got to do it before or you'll get hit still. But there is still a secondary use to it that is honestly pretty cool and links up with our primary fire. It is that arrows go through these portals and they make them do more damage. Anytime you have an arrow go through a portal, it does 31, like all of them, instead of the 7, which is pretty nice. And they also kind of automatically track for enemies, so you don't really have to go around a portal and try to figure out where you need to shoot to hit an enemy. It's really nice in that sense, and I just really like when moves pair up nicely, especially right off rip. These are two moves that are going to be very much heavily upgraded, and honestly kind of act as the framework to Buckshot, so I'm hoping I like them, and I do. Next up is going to be Through and Through and Vortex Boomerang. With these two upgrades, we got our third move, called the Vortex Boomerang. It's a little ball you shoot that it works like a boomerang. You shoot it out, comes back at you, and it works as a vortex that's sucking things in. Then at the end, it will explode and not launch enemies, but just kind of pop them up a bit for you to do, I don't know, another one, fucking shoot at them, whatever you really want to do, you know, whatever your heart contends. And it's a pretty great move. It's not something that really adds a lot to Buckshot, I would say, just because, well, you know, we already have a main primary fire that kind of hits multiple enemies. It's just something that's there to spice them up a bit, not really add much, but it's still a great move. Then we also have Through and Through, which just kind of gives him more damage to his portal, which, when I say kinda, I mean a lot. It just practically doubles it from 31 to 63, so shooting through your portals is now better than ever, and just kind of makes it a little bit more prominent, just because you see the little cosmic stuff on your, you know, arrows, so it makes it look cool. It makes you want to do it more, which, hey, it worked on me. Last on the path, we have Now You See Me and Speedy Exit. With these last two upgrades, they focus on two things, speed and portals. And honestly, it works out for the best for Buckshot, because he's a character that isn't super slow, but does feel pretty slow in certain situations. Like, his primary fire is not slow, but it's not super fast. His boomerang shot isn't, I wouldn't say fast at all. Then his portal also isn't super quick. So just giving more speed to things feels nice, and honestly put it in a pretty nice way. The first one allows you to just move faster in a portal, which allows you to have more distance between portals, which is always nice. Then the second one allows you, the character, to move faster when you get out of a portal, or shoot faster. And that's also, again, very nice, because it works for your normal primary fire or the boomerang one, which comes out a lot quicker. And it just allows for a lot more plays out of a portal comparatively to just having to run away because you wouldn't move far enough. Like, it's just super nice. Now we're on to the arrows away path, which upgrades our arrows with not the face and random selection. The best way I can explain these upgrades is that they're trying to break out that middleman, and the middleman being portals. A lot of these things are just kind of things that portals help you do with Buckshot, but now with these upgrades, you can just kind of do them without it. Like the first one, it allows you to do more damage or get more crits when you're up in someone's face, which is pretty cool, you know, pretty hefty amount of damage, and it is pretty good. But you can make the counter argument that you can do probably the same amount, even more, if you just have a portal and just shooting through it because it does like 60, which I would completely agree. Then the second one allows you to have random selection, which allows for one arrow to get its cosmic rays, do a hefty amount of more damage, and also stun an enemy, which even though the portals can't stun, you know, they do a lot of damage, which is kind of what this is, except it does it to only one arrow. So, do they really add a lot? Not really, but it allows you, I guess, in more sharper, dire situations where you maybe can't use a portal to just be able to fire and kill things quickly. Then for the last upgrade, we have Where Did That Come From? It allows you to shoot sheep out of your portals, and they just kind of do damage. So, yeah, they're not anything crazy. It's a funny upgrade, but they just, again, just don't do anything too cool. So, really not much to say here. I hope the bottom path is just a little bit creatively a little bit better, because the top path isn't bad. I think all the upgrades are really good, but they just don't really feel like they add too much that Buckshot already couldn't do. Now onto the scapegoat path, where we get to deal with our portals with main attraction and dimensional damage. With these first two portal upgrades, they might not seem like a lot, and I wouldn't blame you. You know, the first one allows for our portals to have a gravitational pull of itself, so it pulls in enemies towards it. And, you know, I guess that's kind of cool. Not like the portal does anything really that special. I guess it allows you to get more space between enemies and stuff like that. But, again, overall, it's nothing too crazy. Then the second one allows for our portals to do damage when enemies are close. Okay, starting to add up now, right? Gravitational pull. If enemies get close, they get damage. Alright, that makes sense. And I guess also with the gravitational pull, it just kind of guarantees enemies get hit by the arrows you shoot through it. And allows you to shoot through your portals more often. Okay, wait, yeah, this all kind of adds together. But then with the final upgrade, it makes total sense. And that move being called 2 for 1. What 2 for 1 allows you to do is that anytime you spawn portals and you decide you want to throw a vortex boomerang in it, it will explode every portal. And it does 368 damage. It is practically a soul gem in a path, and it is fucking beautiful. It's just a super good move. Kills a bunch of enemies at one time, does a lot of damage, and it makes sense for the path. You know, you started off with that gravitational pull. Yeah, that makes sense. You probably do want everybody right next to a portal to just set off this big-ass bomb to kill everything. It is just super good. Another thing I really like about it, too, is that right off you get out of a portal, you don't really have to, like, look around. You can just shoot the bomb, and it will explode all of the portals. It is super good, and it just kind of makes sense with the whole path. Like, I just really like what they did with the portals. It might not seem like a lot, but then the ending move is just super fucking good, which is something that you want to see in a path. And I definitely think this is definitely a lot better than the top one. Then for the actual soul gem, we have more bang for your buck. This allows you to, for one, put more portals on screen. And the amount that I've seen to just kind of be the cap before was 3. This really didn't matter too much since, you know, the portals really didn't do anything too crazy. But now since we have this upgrade, the portals do kind of matter. And how many can we go up to now? 4. We can go up to 4, which is a little weird. You would think like the beginning number would be 4 just because, you know, you can use portal 2 times. But no, you got to get 4 with the soul gem, which is still good. I won't lie to you, it's still good. And the other thing too is that anytime you go into a portal, you do a big pulse, which does damage. It doesn't really launch back anybody or do anything like that crazy. It just does damage. So overall, it's still good. Again, especially if you go with the bottom path, because you have more portals out there to just cause a fucking bomb explosion. Yeah, everything just dies, and it looks really cool. And then I guess the pulse is alright too, but it's just that one doesn't really matter too much. And to make sure I do everything, Sky Cheese Power, you goat to be kidding me, is the last thing we need to cover. Now, I don't really put Sky Cheese into my thing, but this one, objectively, out of the other ones that I've seen for Imaginators, it's probably the best one. Just because it actually does, like, a good amount of damage to everything. You know, all the portals around, you're shooting everywhere, it does 70, and then the final big blow of 460. Like, that actually does, like, a screen wipe, comparatively to some other ones that, like, just don't do it well at all. With us looking through every single upgrade now, there's only one thing that I need to do that's left, and that is give you my honest rating on Buckshot. And honestly, he's a pretty fucking cool dude. Gameplay-wise, he's really fun. Upgrade-wise, I think they did really great. In the beginning, the portals felt good, but at the same time, they were missing something. And by the end of it, it became something that I use very, very much that I didn't think I would in the beginning. And I enjoyed that when it comes to making characters. The only thing that I can really criticize on the guy is that I definitely think the top path is something just of a nothing burger. I think a lot of the stuff up there, you can just kind of have by just using the primary and then going for the bottom path. Like, I just don't think you're missing out too much on a character, especially like this, where the bottom path is just super fucking good. So, overall, with all those things said, he is going to get a solid 4.5 out of 5. And with that, that has been Buckshot Honestly Rated. Thank you guys for watching all the way to the end. It does truly mean a lot to me. If you want to see some more Honestly Rated in the future, subscribing will help me out the most, but these also do come out every single Saturday. And I would like to know what Skylander you want to see next, so leave it down in the comments. If you want to see some more videos of mine that are honestly related adjacent, there should be a big playlist on the screen that has every single one there. And with it, you know, you could click on it, you can go see if maybe there's another Skylander you want to go watch, but it's up to you. Again, thank you guys for watching all the way to the end, and I hope to see you and everybody else in the next one. Peace.